Greetings everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing some police reviews. Surprise, surprise. So we've talked a little bit on the main channel about sovereign citizen movements and sovereign citizens in general. And I actually made a whole video about this on this channel that you can go check out. That was kind of a response to a fellow YouTuber. Feel free to look at that video. I may or may not link it in the description if I remember to do that. So one of the big things to note about sovereign citizen ideology is that it is very broad. There's a diverse, set of beliefs associated with this ideology. And it's really hard to narrow down like what exactly is a sovereign citizen ideology. I mean, sure, there's a lot of similar tenets and belief systems that are universal throughout many of the sovereign citizen believers, but a lot of them are also very nuanced and complicated and don't really jive with each other. At times you may find some sovereign citizens who fully believe in admiralty law and things like that. And then other times you might find sovereign citizens who somewhat believe in the Constitution and the Supreme Court and our current justice system. It's really difficult to determine what kind of sovereign citizen you're working with until you hear them start talking. But with all that said, pretty much all of the sovereign citizen ideology is wrong, inaccurate, cherry-picked, and just honestly a way for people to side-skirt the law with some kind of legitimacy. I've been thinking about maybe doing a video on the origins of sovereign citizens, but as you can probably see by the tag at the bottom of this video, YouTube's not a fan of that type of content, so I may or may not get to that, we'll see. But in today's video, we're dealing with a sovereign citizen, so I thought it might be nice to just give you a little refresher on what that is. Let's just get into the video and talk about their ideas as they come, because that's usually the best way to handle stuff like this.
I'm not a driver.
Okay, well, you are driving on the roadways in the state of Florida, so I need your driver's license or your identification.
Like I said, I'm not driving.
Okay, well, I am conducting a lawful stop. You are required to present me your identification, so I'll take whatever identification you have.
Okay, I don't carry identification unless someone's going to pay me for my name. My name is registered as my property on the record.
Okay. So what's your name?
Okay. I'm just recording this for the record. I'm not driving or operating a vehicle for hire on the roadways. And my name is my private property. And if you want my name, I'm conditionally accepting your offer just so I can stay in honor so you won't arrest me. So my conditional acceptance for my name to you is you will give me $500 for the use of my name.
All right, so here we are. We've already hit on a few different tropes that the sovereign citizen community likes to espouse. First of all, he's not driving, he's traveling. Sovereign citizens love to make a distinction between those two actions. Also, his name is not his identity. His name is something that he uses in a commercial aspect. It's not something that pertains to him as an individual. These tropes are very common in the more admiralty law-based ideology of sovereign citizens. And let me just give you a quick rundown of what that actually means. So the first thing to note about admiralty law and the beliefs that these people have is that they think that this is sort of a separate thing from the common law that our courts go by today. They're essentially trying to claim that modern courts operate under maritime and admiralty law, which really only applies to like open waters and international ways and stuff like that. One of the arguments that they often have is that the gold fringed flags that you often see in courtrooms are supposed to be a signal of maritime law and some sort of indication that the courts are actually following that system of laws instead of the actual constitutional law that has been established. And of course, because they believe that the laws that the court is abiding by only apply to the sea or other bodies of water, then there's no legal basis for trying someone based on maritime law when they're on land. And they think that the courts that are established in our country are attempting to enforce admiralty law on the land. But, of course, there's like no legal basis to believe that whatsoever. So there's no real roots to this type of ideology. It sort of coalesced over the course of many years of people misinterpreting and misunderstanding certain aspects of the law and of government in general. But the origins of it are largely attributed to what's known as the Posse Comitatus, which was a movement based back in the 1970s that largely advocated for local authority over for federal authority or like a larger branch of government authority. A lot of the things that the posse comitatus believed are reflected in modern sovereign citizen ideologies. Later in the lifespan, if you will, of sovereign citizen ideology, a man named Montana Friedman back in the 90s started associating these admiralty laws with this ideology a lot more heavily, and kind of is largely responsible for how prevalent it is today. So with all that said, it's safe to assume that this individual in this video probably thinks that the laws of the land don't apply to him, and he's not required to renew his tag or provide identity for committing crimes on the land. Also, he probably believes that the name that the government gave to him is for business purposes only, and that he has another identity, a true self, that is actually beholden to the common law. It's difficult to understand how people can believe in a system that's so convoluted and arguably more difficult to understand than the current law system that we go by today. But, you know, this video is proof that these people do exist.
Echo 13, Malvern, 1094, please. Sir, you will be arrested if you do not present some type of identification.
Really?
Excuse me?
I said really?
Yes, sir, really.
Why do I need to provide identification?
You are operating a vehicle on the roadways in the state of Florida. Sir, with all due respect, you're behind the in the driver's seat, behind the steering wheel.
I've been behind, and this is in the driver's seat. Now, if you want to try and prove in court that I'm driving or operating a vehicle for hire, then fine, but I'm stating for the record that I'm not driving or operating a vehicle.
Sir, I've been behind you since you were on Babcock, okay?
Yeah.
You've been in that seat the entire time.
No matter how you word your script from your fraternal order of police, I'm telling you on the record I'm not driving or operating. That's official. I'm
okay.
on the record. And if you want my name, it's $500 cash.
Okay, go ahead and step out of the vehicle for me.
Sir, I can step out of the vehicle.
You can step out of the vehicle for me.
I'll step out of the vehicle for $500.
Sir, step out of the vehicle.
All right, so let's talk about driving versus traveling for a moment. Now, when it comes to the law, there are distinctions between the idea of driving and the action of traveling. You have a right as an American citizen to travel wherever you want that is not on private property you're not invited to. Sovereign citizens have taken that idea and convoluted it with the idea of driving and sort of tried to make these two things interchangeable. I've covered this topic a little bit more in a previous video, the one I mentioned earlier about the response to the YouTuber. You can check that out there. There is a distinction between driving and traveling. Driving is regulated at the state level, and commercial driving, which is what he is referring to as traveling, is regulated at the federal level. The argument that a state level police force can't enforce their driving laws because there's a federal law about driving for hire is just completely irrelevant and cherry picking, and it means absolutely nothing in this context. As I said, if you want more detail on that, you can refer to that other video, but just know that whenever you hear a sovereign citizen discussing the difference between driving and traveling, it's a moot point and it really serves no legitimate legal interest for anyone. And I guarantee you, if he did go to court over this, he would be prosecuted for having an expired tag, and the argument that you were traveling and not driving would be totally illegitimate in court, and no judge, jury, or anyone for that matter is gonna accept that as a legitimate defense.
Roll over on your stomach. Okay, sir, at this time you are being placed under arrest. You will be registered as a John Doe until you are properly identified.
But I already said I'm not driving or operating.
Okay, well, yes, sir, you are.
No, I'm not. I'm not driving or operating a vehicle.
Ma'am, do you have a valid driver's license?
I do.
May I see it, please? Thank you.
Can I speak to a supervisor? Because I'm still in honor and you're arresting me, and I'm being fully transparent that I'm not a driver or operator. And if you want my name, I'm conditionally accepting my name.
I also have a request for a supervisor.
Yeah, I've conditionally accepted your offer so I can stay in honor. I'm operating on the honor system.
Imagine, right, if we just had a system that was based on honor. Oh, this guy's got enough honor points, we shouldn't give him a ticket. I'm not driving, I'm too honorable to be driving, right? Like, that makes no sense. There's no such thing as an honor system with law. That's kind of the whole point that we have laws, is so that we're all in agreement about these objective facts. That way there's no need for subjective ideas like honor, you know, character, character, those types of things. It doesn't matter if you're the greatest person in the world, the most honorable man on the earth. If you commit a crime, the objective fact of you committing a crime still exists, and you still have to face the consequences of that. This just, once again, kind of appeals to the type of people that sort of associate themselves with this type of ideology. Sort of half-baked ideas that really go nowhere, and ultimately, if they were implemented, would really serve no one and only sow more chaos in this country. And that's the last thing we need right now.
Stand up, man.
I can't.
Roll to your side. Bend your knees up.
Wait, you're hurting me.
Roll to your side.
Yeah, I know, but these cuffs are on too tight.
I'll help you
and
up.
You're hurting me.
All right.
My phone is still recording,
Yes, sir. We'll make sure you have your phone.
but I want that on the record. That's
Okay. Well, here. As a matter of fact, you can continue recording. I'll stick it in your pocket.
I'll answer any questions for $100
Answer
a
this
question
question
cash.
for me. Anything on your personal
I will
I'll put you in the back
answer
of
that
my car.
question for $100
All right, scratch your
cash.
feet for me.
You don't have the right. You can search me for $500 cash. I'm conditionally
Sir.
accepting all of your offers for my fee schedule.
There's no charge for
And
that.
you can, yeah, there is. I'm in honor.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Could you fill me on what's going on here?
I don't know. I don't understand his thing. I don't
Okay.
understand that. I don't know.
Okay. How do you know him?
He's my boyfriend.
Okay.
I don't understand all that mumbo jumbo stuff he talks though.
Oh, you're trained on this at the Fraternal Order of Police. I'm an expert on honor, and I'm in
Okay.
honor.
Okay. What's his name? Ronald what? Is this his vehicle?
From what yeah. I mean, I think his mom is still owner.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Let me just say, I feel bad for this man's wife. And I'm not trying to insult him by saying that. It's just that whenever you engage in some kind of like roadside legal battle against the police or assert your rights in a situation, especially one where it's not necessarily called for, the truth is that you win your battles against police officers, against authority, against literally anyone in court, not on the side of the street. And trying to assert your rights like this, in this manner, is totally wrong and will not result in favorable outcomes for you. But of course, espousing any kind of sovereign citizen ideology anywhere is not really going to work out for you. So that's just something to consider. But my point is that other people should not be dragged into your protests unwillingly. If you have a problem with how you're being treated by the police, please take care of it in the court. Don't drag other people, especially family members and loved ones, into your battles that you chose to take on. I think it just says a lot about, his personality, and the type of people that subscribe to these ideologies tend to be very self-centered, and they kind of have a reckless disregard for the rest of society. That may sound a little harsh, but hey, this is how I feel about it. So
You can search me for $100.
Spread your feet.
I'll spread my feet for $100.
Spread your feet.
No, you're in dishonor. You know you're violating the rules of honor, and I have done nothing wrong, and I've conditionally accept all of your offers for my fee schedule. Are you recording?
Yep, everything is recorded.
I'll get in the car for
Get in the car.
$500.
Get in
No,
the car.
you're forcing me. I'll get in the...
Get in the car.
I already conditionally accepted your offer
Get
for
in the
money.
car. Get in the car.
Dude,
Get in the car.
You're assaulting and battering me, and you're violating my rights.
Get in the car.
I conditionally
Watch
accepted
your
your
knee.
offer
Watch
for
your
my
knee.
fee schedule.
Watch your knee.
No, dude, you can't put me in jail. You can't do
car.
this. You guys are going into discipline.
I just want to point out, imagine for a moment that our country was based on a system like this, where you literally had to pay money to interact with people if they didn't want to interact with you. It's kind of ridiculous to think that everyone in our entire country would be walking around with a fee schedule for their time whenever you interrupt them about their day or try to talk to them or interact with them in any way. Because I imagine that this type of ideology extends further than just authority. If you're operating in a commercial capacity every day, and anytime that you interact with anyone outside of you, any organization, then that would mean that there's some type of commercial transaction going on anytime any two people are talking to each other, because they both represent commercial entities. Are they charging each other $100 every time they speak? I don't know. It just seems kind of ridiculous. I get it. Granted, this is a situation where there is a government authority interacting with this man, and his ideology may not expand, as far as each individual. I just still don't follow the logic of this. And I wonder, like, what would the world look like if this man's ideology was what we went by and was the law of the land? I kind of think this country might be in a lot worse shape than it is now if that was the case.
That's conditional acceptance. I'm still in honor. I can't put my left hand.
I'm gonna listen for you.
I'm in honor. I can't be arrested for staying in honor. And my name is my property on the record. I recorded it with the county recorder. I said you can have my name, and that's not dishonor.
All right, sir. You're gonna get back in the other car.
My name is my personal property on the record.
That's fine.
You guys are violating the law and honor, and you know I'm correct about everything I'm saying. You're violating the law. You guys are committing crimes right now, and I'm going to file claims against you guys on the record.
Okay,
Because
sir.
your name's going to be available to me.
Hey, sir. Quick question. No, keep your feet in the car. Do not get out of the car. Do you understand me right now?
I'll stay in the car for $100.
Listen, you're
I'll stay
staying
in the car for $100. That's my conditional acceptance to your
How
offer.
is your relationship with your mother?
She's probably sleeping right now.
Okay.
Look, I'll answer all your questions for $100 per question, cash, in writing.
Okay, well, I'm trying to figure out what we're doing with your vehicle.
Well, you're taking me for no reason. That's not a vehicle.
Why isn't she answering the
That's
phone?
not a vehicle, it's a car. She's 85 years old, and I'll answer all the rest of your questions for $100.
All right, sir.
I mean, that statement right there says a lot about this situation. You know, that's not a vehicle, that's a car. Like, that is exactly the type of like wordplay and lingo that is typically associated with sovereign citizens. These officers are not here representing the legal system. They're not here to repeat all of the laws verbatim. They're under no legal obligation to tell you why you're being arrested or what exact laws you broke. And honestly, building a court case on the distinction between a car and a vehicle will never work. This is just a great example of the type of language and the type of words that sovereign citizens use in an effort to sidestep the law. And there's really no point in talking like this or saying anything. Once again, remaining silent would have been much more beneficial. And while there may be some legal distinction between a vehicle and a car, in this instance, they pretty much are the same thing in the eyes of the law.
We're just gonna tow it. She's 85 years old, he said, and I'll answer my questions for $100 a question. You get clear to teletype for that, right?
Yep.
All right, ma'am. Unfortunately, we are towing the vehicle. Okay, we can't get a hold of her, and
I think she was just calling his phone,
Well, we
and I
just-
don't know why she's calling his phone.
we just tried calling from his phone.
Oh, you have his phone?
Yes,
And
we're-
did she?
She didn't answer.
Oh, okay, then, okay.
So
I just saw it.
if
coming
maybe
through.
it picked up
Yeah.
on there.
Must have
We
done.
tried using it. I tried seeing how his relationship is with his mother. Like maybe she didn't want to answer the phone because I don't know.
She might be sleepy. She's
Well, that's
85.
what he said. That's what he said. I didn't know that. So if you can just get a ride.
Yeah, my sister's
have
working
someone
on
come
it. Like I
get
said, she's got a broken arm, so
No problem.
she's slow.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the end of that. I'm assuming the guy got arrested, the car got towed, and his girlfriend got a ride home. It really sucks that this is how this turned out, especially for his girlfriend. And once again, this is why I said that earlier. I mean, all this resulted in this whole sovereign citizen protest, if you will, was him going to jail, getting his mother's car towed, and having his girlfriend have to find a ride home. And I guarantee you that if he decides to take this to court, that it will go nowhere. He will end up having to pay fines. He'll follow the traditional route that anyone who would have been convicted of these crimes would, if he pays his fines. If nothing else, this video should be a testament to the actual results of trying to espouse sovereign citizen ideology. This is the kind of stuff that happens, that actually happens. It's not as pretty and glamorous as the other sovereign citizens you may be interacting with like to make it out to be. Oftentimes, if you are a sovereign citizen, you will find yourself in jail, you will find yourself losing court cases, and you will find yourself angry. And honestly, that's just not a good way to live. I get it. I get the frustration with our government. I get the frustration with the police. I get the frustration with authority in general. I share many of those same feelings. But to make those feelings your entire identity kind of goes across a line that's not really beneficial to anyone. Even you. Now, I'm not saying you guys are sovereign citizens. I kind of got on a tangent there talking to like all sovereign citizens, but you get the point. What I'm trying to say is that there are better, more productive ideologies There are ones that are legitimate. There are ones that can actually make change happen. And there are ones that you can literally participate in without causing suffering to other people around you, and where you take on all the responsibility and consequences of your actions. In this case, other people had to suffer just so this man could espouse his ideology, which is a little ridiculous to me, in my opinion. So it goes without saying, I don't agree with sovereign citizens. I don't like sovereign citizens. I don't like the ideology. I think it's very selfish, and I think it's just fundamentally wrong. But anyway, I'm not going to go on a huge rant about that. Like I said, I've talked about this topic plenty in the past. If you check out another video on this channel, I'm sure you'll find one. Let me know if you like this content. This is just like, casual review stuff. I like making these videos. I like just talking to you in a casual way. And I'd like to do more of these, along with some, long form stuff like that alien video I did last year. So who knows, maybe more of that will be coming up. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for checking out this video. I hope you learned something, and feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.